Hello friends, this is Vikas from Networkers Home, and today I'm back again with another video of device templates. So there are multiple ways that you can manage your Cisco SD-WAN solution, and mostly we use three methods: CLI template, device template. Although you can also use automation platforms and APIs and different methods, but I'm going to cover in this video these different methods here. So CLI method is everybody's aware of. You do the skinny configuration using CLI method, in which you generally go to the device and start configuring your device with the CLI parameters. So generally Cisco engineers are very comfortable with this method because they have been using it for decades. And this was the only method available at one time to configure your Cisco devices. What are the benefits that you are comfortable? What are the drawbacks? It's an old fashioned, it's a very decentralized method. You have to log into hundreds of devices to configure them, which is very time consuming and is not a recommended method. Now that leaves us with other two methods. One is CLI template and the other is device template. So CLI template is actually a method that you use through vManage to configure your devices, but using the CLI configuration. But once you start using the CLI template option, if you implement CLI template and you apply the template to any of the device in Cisco SD-WAN solution, you will not be able to manage the device from the CLI itself. It has to be managed from CLI template. So this is one of the method. The other very prominent method is device template. What happens in device template is that you get the vManage GUI interface, and on that particular interface you can just go and check and uncheck or give the values, etc., and you create a complete device template, and you fill the values and you apply those values to, or you apply that template to the Cisco SD-WAN solution devices like vEdge, cEdge, ISR series routers which are supported, plus other devices which are supported. It's a very fast method. You can just create one template and I can modify it anytime. You don't need to remember any kind of syntax. It supports more features and very highly efficient method, which probably means that you can apply it to as many devices as you want to apply to. Now, these device templates are generally made up of feature templates, small feature templates. So one device template is equivalent to a huge number of feature templates. So these feature templates are nothing but small piece of configuration. Like when we were doing skinny configuration, you might have noticed that we went to the system mode, we went to system, then we gave organization name, system IP, vboard IP, host name, right, site ID. Now here in the device template, this will become a system feature template. Then you configure your VPN 0 interface or VPN 512 interfaces or service web VPN interfaces, so you can do it from here. If you have some NTP features, you can create another feature template. So the purpose of telling this is that these are small features which are basically called upon in the device templates, and the device template then is applied to the device. There are a couple of more examples that we can see in this particular slide here, right? You can see that there are more different type of device template. Although this is a very small list, you can actually have a much more bigger option list there. Now, when we go to the feature template, you will see that every feature will be actually classified with three options. Either it's going to be global, or it's going to be device specific, or default. So default, we don't need to know anything about it, right? That's a system parameter given by the Cisco Viptela solution as the default, and generally we don't change that. Device specific is, let's say you are creating a template for all the vEdge routers in the network. So what happens is all these routers are going to have their own VPN interfaces, their own IP addresses, their own site IDs, their own system IPs, their own, some variable configuration. So that option should be device specific, because on each device this parameter will change. Global parameters are generally the parameter which will not change for any of the devices. What could be the example? It's like the default route. Default route is always 0.0.0.0, right? /0. Also NTP server or syslog servers or SNMP servers in the network, which generally don't change. So how do we verify if a device is actually controlled by vmanage, right? Using two methods, CLI template or device template, or is it locally managed by the CLI? So that's the difference between CLI template and CLI. CLI is you can go to the device and you can configure anything that you want to configure. But once a device is managed by vmanage using CLI template or vmanage template, device template, you will not be able to make any kind of change using CLI. You will get an error message that is not basically allowed. So this is the theory portion of the device template. Now we will go back to our lab and we will see how to create and apply these device templates. Okay, so I am on the pod now, and we will see how to apply a CLI template and a device template. Also how to create the CLI configuration through the CLI. So here first I'll go to my SSH and I'll go to VH1. And we'll see if we can make any change to the device or not. So this option essentially is the option of CLI configuration. So if I go to the CLI and I want to make any change, I can just go and do, let's say, interface VPN 15. I'm going to go interface gigabit 02. And let's say I want to change an IP address from this 172.16.15.1 IP address 172.16. I'll make it, let's say, 17.2/24, and we'll see if we are able to make this change or not. Okay, I'll say yes. You see that I can make this particular change. So this device is actually managed by the local CLI. It is not controlled by the CLI template or the device template, right? This is how we verify it. So I'll just go back and change this parameter so that we don't have any confusion. Interface gigabit 02, IP address 172.16.15.2 is my original IP. Okay, once this change is made, I'll just do a show config here. So I was not able to SSH to it. Now this is on, so that's the reason I can do it. Now let's go and see the same device. I'm going to apply the device template. So I'll go to the templates and VH1, I'm going to apply a feature template. So this is a device template created, and I'm going to apply to device VH1. So, and attach it. We'll have to fill up some parameters here. So VPN 15 IP address is going to be 172.16.15.1/24, or was it 2? I just gave 2. Okay. Management interface IP is going to be, let's say 10.1.1.100 is all good. Here I have to do 172. I think that was a mistake. So let me give it again. 172.16.15.1/24. VPN 0 IP address is my 15.15.15.1/24. and we can click on it to see that was for the next hop. So that's actually is going to be 15.15.15.2, and my interface is going to be this. My interface IP host name is VH1. Location, if you want to give it, we have set it up in the parameter. System IP is this, and the site ID is 1. So I'll just say update. Say next. Let's check the configuration difference. We can check it here. Click on the config difference and then click on side by side, and you can see that what are the changes that will be applied to it. And you can see that we have SSH and netconf is available, so that's good. I'm going to apply this feature device template to the VH1. Okay, the validation is success, but we'll wait for this particular message to see if this device is working fine, and it's a success here. So what do? We go back to verify, back to this device to see if we can still log into it, and show system status, and we'll see that status. We can see that this device is basically managed by vmanage is true, right? So the device is managed by vmanage. Now we'll try to do the same change that we did before when it was being managed by the CLI. So can we do that? Let's see that if it will allow us to do that. 172.16.15.1 or whatever IP, if you want to change it to something else, maybe 4/24, and I'll exit, right, and try to commit the change. And you see that you can't commit the change because it says that your device is managed by vmanage and cannot be changed through the CLI. Right? So once a device is managed by a device template, you will not be able to make any change through this CLI. Now we are going to remove it and we will apply a CLI template to it. So I'll just go back again, remove the device template on this particular device. Right, detach, and then we'll go back to our devices. And I'm going to pick up the running config of this particular device, which is, that's for VH2. So we'll go to VH1, this is VH1. So I'll go to this, pick up the running config, and I'm going to copy this, and we'll create a CLI template with this. So copy, and then go back to your templates. And I already have the templates. I'm going to delete it so that we can create the templates again and we can apply to our devices. So now the device again is not managed by, so I'm going to remove all of these templates right now so that we can just see a CLI template. So all of these are deleted, and I'll go to create template, and this time it's going to be CLI template. What is the device model? It's VH Cloud, it's a VH device, and let's say VH devices, I'll name it. If you want to make it VH1, that is also fine. And here I am going to copy paste that same configuration, and what we'll do is we'll just say add. Any parameter it needs, we'll click on edit. It doesn't really need anything, just say update, and we'll see if it does produce some kind of error or not. And I'm going to attach a device to it. So we'll come back to VH1, and now this time I'm applying CLI template. Remember that it's a CLI template, nodal device template, right? Okay, config difference you want to see side by side, and say configure device. Validation is success, but we'll see here because this is the right option to check things, and it's a success. Now we'll go back to see the validity of this the same parameter. Can we configure this device once it is configured by CLI template? Can I go to the CLI again and try to configure this particular thing from here? So again, VPN 15 interface gigabit 2 IP address 172.16, anything that you want to say. Let's say 100/24. We'll try to commit a change, and it says the device is still cannot be managed because it is still managed by the vManage, right? So this is the difference. When you are in CLI, you can do the changes here at CLI, but if you use CLI template or device template, any of those options, you will no more be able to configure your devices using CLI. You have to do all the changes. Let's say tomorrow you have some change and you want to add some new parameters to your template. Where will you go? You will actually go to this parameter here, add whatever things that you want to add. So let's say tomorrow you have VPN 16 here added. So you can just go here and you add it, VPN 16 here, right, and update it. Also in this device template, you want to, let's say, copy paste this one. You want to copy paste this particular device template and you want to apply it to VH2, right? But if you look at the configuration, right, it's very clear that you will not be able to apply these parameters. So what you can do is, all these parameters you can make them as variables. So I am going to make it system IP as a variable. Site ID is also going to be variable for the next device. So make it variable. Okay, these are going to be same. The organization name, vBond is constant for all the devices, so no issues. What else? Your interface, in my lab it's the same, but it could be also a change for you, so you can make it variable here. Also this IP address could be a change here for you, so you can convert it to a variable here, right? So VPN 0 IP address, right? Similarly, your VPN 15 or your default gateway here, this particular value, right? Your default route is going to be same, but your default next hop is going to change. So next hop IP. Then you can go to VPN 15. Your interface can change, right? So you can choose this one on IP address for sure, because in my lab there all the routers are the same with the same interfaces, so there is no change here. But these some values are changing here. So VPN 15 IP address. Okay, and you can update it. So what happens? I'll configure this option here, and then I'll go to next. Config difference, side by side. Okay, it's a validation success, but we'll see that it should be success actually here if there is absolutely no error. And it's a success here as well, right? So what we'll do is now we'll go back to our templates and we can apply the same template. I'm going to delete this one and I'm going to copy this one, VH2, and I will apply this particular template to VH2 device. Right, so this is VH2, I'll attach VH2, and because my parameters are variable, right, it should ask me for these values here also. So system IP is 666, my site ID is again 1, my VPN address is going to be 16. It's going to be 16.16.1 / 24. My next hop, 24. My next hop IP is going to be 16.16.16.2, and my VPN IP is going to be this one here. So if I update it, it should also be a success. Config difference, side by side, and confirm. Oh, see the device name, the host name parameter, I think I forgot to change. The host name is still VH1, so there should be some problem, but configuration wise it's fine. Other thing is I can just go there on the device itself in CLI template and I can make a change. So that is the beauty of this particular product. Let's say I made some mistake, okay, so I'll just go like a CLI engineer. I'll go to this particular device, I'm going to edit it, and here my host name, you see that, the mistake, it should be VH2 here. So this was the mistake, I can just go and update it and it's all good, beautiful. So you will feel like a CLI engineer with CLI templates. Okay, I just updated the host name, so if everything is fine, it should come back up here. Okay, so it's a success, so all set, right? So this was an example of CLI template, and we did CLI, we did CLI template, we did device template, and that is what is the difference between all three. Hope you like the video, and if you like it, kindly subscribe it. Thank you.